The first injury report of Week 8, where the Green Bay Packers take on a friendly face in Aaron Rodgers and the Pittsburgh Steelers. Sunday Night Football just came out with a lot of very important injury updates, including a key player potentially returning here in Week 8 and another player hopefully making his 2025 debut for the Green Bay Packers. So let's dive down into the injury report for both the Packers and the Steelers, break it all down here in Week 8. Do me a favor and go down and hit the subscribe button. If you're already subscribed, hit the like button on the video. It helps support the channel a ton. And if you aren't subscribed, I'd highly suggest doing so to stay in the loop with everything Green Bay Packers, including injury updates such as this, game previews, film breakdowns, and everything in between for your Packers. You'll find it all here on this channel. All right, so without further ado, let's dive right down into it and bring the injury report up on the screen. And yet again, it's a pretty lengthy report for the Green Bay Packers. First, let's go over the 3 players that did not participate in today's practice. First of which was kicker Brandon McManus with his right quadricep injury. Now, Matt LaFleur said he wasn't kicking today, but he plans to kick tomorrow, where usually he'll kick on Wednesday. But they're waiting for tomorrow for him to kick. But Lucas Haversick has been perfect for the Green Bay Packers. There's no need to rush back Brandon McManus. Haversick, 10 for 10, extra points and field goals, and of course, including that 61-yarder, that clutch kick to end the half against the Cardinals. So the Packers are fortunate enough and lucky enough to have someone like Lucas Haversick here for the 3rd week in a row if McManus can't go against the Steelers. Lucas Van Ness remains out of practice with his foot injury, so not a good sign for a potential return for Van Ness here in Week 8. Likely will aim to return either Week 9 or Week 10 afterwards. Then we also have Dontavian Wicks with a calf injury, did not participate. Now, Wicks had a calf injury most of training camp. I don't know if this is the same one or not. He left last week's game with a calf injury after having an ankle injury the week prior, and really has been written out of this offense and will probably continue to be written out of the offense even when healthy, because Christian Watson is limited today, but more importantly, he aims to make his return in 2025 against the Steelers here in Week 8. Watson himself said it in the locker room after practice. He said, quote, "My goal and my plan is to play this week." So that's huge news for the Green Bay Packers and their offense, what he can add into this offense with both him and Matthew Golden. I think we can all agree Golden deserves more targets. Romeo Doubs has been extremely consistent for this Packers offense, and Christian Watson returning could be monumental for this offense, so long he, of course, stays healthy, which we're hoping that he can, and can return to his former self post-ACL surgery, which is a big thing to overcome. So it seems all likely that Christian Watson will be activated, and a lot of people may be thinking, well, he has to be activated. He opened that 21-day practice window, but that actually doesn't end until Monday after this game. So there is still a very, very slight chance that the Packers decide to keep him out and then maybe end up activating him to the roster on Monday after the game. But I doubt he'd be out saying there, I plan to play. And he also mentioned that he could have played last week, but the Packers held him out. So I really do believe Christian Watson will be returning to action here in Week 8. Now going over the rest of the injury report from top to bottom, who we haven't mentioned yet. Aaron Banks, groin injury, remains limited. Anthony Belton, ankle injury, who was held out of last game, limited today. Nate Hobbs, knee injury. A lot of people upset with how Nate Hobbs has been playing, and he's still listed on here with a knee injury, limited. Josh Jacobs with the calf injury, who thankfully played against the Cardinals because he was the source of a lot of our offensive success later in that game. He is limited. Great to see limited here rather than did not participate for that calf injury. We also see Xavier McKinney added to the injury report, ankle/knee injury. He was limited. Jordan Morgan with his knee injury is, I believe, upgraded to a full participant. I think he was limited all last week, or he could have had full on Friday, but nice to see full here nonetheless. Zach Tom listed with a back injury rather than an oblique injury, but he remains limited on this practice report. Quay Walker, neck injury, full participation, had a career-high 5 pressures against the Cardinals and also a sack and a half. Evan Williams also on here with a back injury. I feel like this has got to be like the 8th or 9th back injury I've seen on the injury report throughout 2025 thus far, but he does remain limited. And another huge one, last but not least, Devonte Wyatt has returned to practice for the Green Bay Packers with that knee injury. He has been out the last few weeks and hasn't practiced in the last couple of weeks. He is limited today, and that bodes very well for Devonte Wyatt getting back on track to being available in this game against the Steelers. But I will say this, as much as we've been missing Devonte Wyatt, I thought Warren Brinson has really stepped up to the plate. And then at nose tackle, I think Colby Wooden had a wonderful game last week against the Cardinals. And even though Devonte Wyatt should be returning, we still need to give Warren Brinson the much-needed snaps. You can never have enough ball players on the defensive line, guys to rush the passer at that 3-tech spot that Devonte Wyatt will be returning to. All right, so now let's take a look at the Pittsburgh Steelers injury report. Before we do so, I want to go over my sleeper picks for this upcoming game, Packers versus Steelers. Go check out Sleeper, link down in the description. Use code BASS when making a first-time deposit to get that matched 100% up to $100. And here are my picks. I have Aaron Rodgers more than 215.5 passing yards. Playing against his former team, Aaron's going to give it his all. Not that he wouldn't anyways, but of course, Rodgers, more than anything else, wants to win this game against the Green Bay Packers. And I think 215.5 yards is a little low for his line, considering our cornerbacks have been struggling as of late. I have Jordan Love more than 12.5 rushing yards. He's been continuing to use his legs more frequently now, so that I think he'll get more than that. Matthew Golden more than 3.5 receptions. He saw 4 last week, had 3 on the first drive. Even with Watson returning, I still think he'll get more targets than he did last week. And then I have a free pick, Jordan Love, more than 0.5 passing yard. So if you want to make your picks, tail my bet or fade my bet, definitely go check out Sleeper. All right, so now for the Pittsburgh Steelers injury report. This one will go a lot quicker. This tends to be the case. The Packers injury report super long. They'll add anything on the injury report that they can. And the Pittsburgh Steelers here have a small injury report. Calvin Austin, wide receiver, shoulder injury, full participation. We have Zach Frazier, their center, calf injury, limited. Malik Harrison, who is designated to return from injured reserve, a knee injury, full participation. Cameron Hayward with a veteran rest day, so he did not participate. Will Howard, who's also designated to return from IR, right hand injury, full participation. And then finally, TJ Watt, just like Cameron Hayward, a veteran rest day, did not participate. So really only 4 true players on the injury report here for the Pittsburgh Steelers. So that does it for the first injury report of Week 8 for the Green Bay Packers. Really nice to see Devonte Wyatt nearing his return for this defense. Christian Watson likely to make his debut here in 2025. The offensive line seemingly keeps getting healthier and no real new injuries have popped up for them, knock on wood. And overall, the Packers not that banged up as long as the injury list is. They don't have too many significant injuries heading into this game. But I really appreciate you guys stopping by the channel. Again, leave a like down below if you did enjoy the video. I'll be on NFC North Roundtable probably as this video goes live. So make sure to come on by to that to talk about last week's game and a little bit of a preview for this upcoming game as well. The final injury report will be out Friday with all the actual injury designations, so be on the lookout for that video. And of course, get ready for this awesome Sunday Night Football matchup. Aaron Rodgers playing his former team. Really excited about this one. I mean, this probably has the most hype of all games thus far in 2025, that's for sure. But I appreciate you guys stopping by. I'll catch you on the next one, and as always, go Pack Go.